The latest round of celebrity sporting investments has been announced this week with a group of investors that includes Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhenney, and Michael B. Jordan, revealing that they've gathered, their spare change to purchase a 24% stake in the Alpine Formula One team for a cool $218 million. These are not the first celebrities to dip their toe in a motorsport investment either. For example, Leonardo DiCaprio is already a co-founder of the Venturi Racing Formula E team. My question for you is, what do Formula One fans think of celebrities investing in the sport? Drop a comment down below. Is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down from you? What do you think? And then let's get into this topic a little further, shall we? Frankly, I don't think that this investment news is that shocking, especially when you look at who is included in the group that is making the investment. We already know all about Wrexham Football Club as far as Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney are concerned, and Michael B. Jordan has a recent but nonetheless existing investment in Bournemouth Football Club as well. So before anyone gets too ahead of themselves, I'm definitely not suggesting that Wrexham and Bournemouth are at the same level of caliber in the sporting world as the Alpine F1 team. However, what I am suggesting is that these people now have successful business cases under their belt, and they've made the decision that Alpine is the one that they're going to hit up next as far as putting their money where their mouth is. So there should, in theory, be some solid financial and marketing decision making going into that call. And for the most part, the general reaction amongst F1 fans seems to either have been indifferent or leaning towards positive. As I mentioned many times on this channel, Formula One is shoveling money into the US market. It is a huge investment for the sport, and I'm sure that the powers that be will see this investment from the other side, since it is a US group, as a pretty positive signal towards the level of engagement that they're getting from the US as a target market. And the fact is that it takes such a huge volume of money from such a huge number of sources to keep the F1 wheels turning, that if we all became emotionally attached to every single investment, which we would never, they would never tell us that anyway, we'd all be in need of daily therapy. Because it's worth noting that in the same week that this Alpine deal was announced, a £400 million stake in the McLaren F1 team and their supercar arm passed from the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund to the Bahrain State Investment Fund. And it made very little headline impact whatsoever, despite it being a much larger amount than the celebrity investment, and with obviously much more concerning issues connected to it. Ultimately, the money itself is, of course, going to be a big boost to Alpine as a team, and I think their celebrity connections will also open them to more or a wider range of sponsorship opportunities, which, as we know, are the bread and butter. They are literally vital for the longevity of an F1 team. And, they're everywhere. We see them on the track, we see them on the cars, we see them all over the drivers' racing suits, their helmets, their gloves. It's the lifeblood of Formula One. And it's particularly important to the longevity of an F1 team to have strong sponsorship connections and investments if they find themselves at any time with a driver in their lineup who, let's say, their monetary appeal is not as strong as they would like it to be. I don't think any of you will be surprised to hear that Eddie Jordan has a hot take on this news. He's known for a hot take. He does like to have them. And to be fair, he is a former team owner, and a former team owner that's all success. And he, for his part, has labelled this investment as nothing short of preposterous, that's his word, and was reportedly in disbelief at first hearing the news. He even went as far as to suggest that the valuation that's been placed on Alpine just simply doesn't add up. Now, it may take a lot to shock Eddie Jordan, but he's been around Formula One and motorsport in general long enough to know that money comes from all different sources to keep the motorsport world turning, and that, okay, when it comes to the maths, 1 + 1 does not always equal 2. As far as the fan reaction, as I mentioned earlier, there really hasn't been a notable negative reaction to this news. I think possibly there are some fans who will feel that it's leaning towards the kind of gimmicky side of things that we have seen some of recently. You know, whether it's constantly trying to rejuvenate the format of a Grand Prix weekend or what have you. Perhaps that may rub those people up the wrong way. But with that being said, we're heading down that road full steam, let's be honest. I mean, if you've seen any of the promotional materials for the Las Vegas Grand Prix, buckle up, folks. So when we think about that, you know, let's be honest, what difference is one or two more celebrity faces going to make on a grid walk? You know, I don't think we're going to see these people on any other level than that, to be completely honest with you. And I think it's also important to mention here that regardless of where a Formula One team's funds come from, they can only spend what the cost cap allows them to. So this investment from Reynolds and Co. will have an impact over time. It's not going to be some sort of magic boost overnight that's going to make an incredible difference on the face of the team's performance. We know how long it takes to make positive change in Formula One. No matter what the media frenzy will have you believe, that is the reality. Thank you, as always, for tuning in, my friends. As I said at the top of the video, please do drop a comment down below and let me know whether or not you're in favour of more celebrities investing in Formula One, as we've seen in other sports, including football, as I mentioned. I'm curious to know what you have to say, and I do love hanging out with you in the comments, so I will be doing that once this video goes live. But until then, take care and enjoy your racing.